Thank you. Senator Whitehouse.
Thanks very much. Secretary, welcome. Have you identified any precedent in Treasury or IRS history for the agreement not to audit, investigate, or pursue any tax claims against the Trump family or businesses?
I can't identify any precedent where 400,000 tax returns, including the people you just mentioned and all of their employees, were leaked in a violation of one of the most sacred duties of the IRS.
So let me cut to that then.
Senator.
The leak was by a contractor.
This question, coming up in the very first minute of the video, is really a summary of the entire hearing. The senator asks something very direct. Was there ever an agreement not to audit the Trump family? But the secretary's answer has nothing to do with the question. He immediately pivots to the leak of 400,000 people's tax information. This is a tactic seen often in Washington, deflecting an uncomfortable question by redirecting to a bigger, more emotional event. But the senator doesn't fall for it and keeps pulling the conversation back to his original question.
Well, the ranking member chastised me for cutting the contractors' contracts off, and we have removed their contracts, their ability to do business with Treasury and the IRS.
But there is no contribution into this particular case.
Again, Senator, you weren't here earlier, but I'm unable to discuss most of this because of ongoing litigation.
Here's where a real contradiction surfaces. The secretary claims his agency is a victim of this breach, yet in the same breath admits no compensation is being sought from the company responsible. In other words, the government isn't asking for a single cent from the firm that caused millions of citizens' data to leak. And right at this point, we hear that now familiar line for the first time. I can't comment due to ongoing litigation. You'll hear this phrase repeated throughout the rest of the video because the secretary uses it almost like a shield.
No contribution is being sought from the contractor at fault. Was there any consideration to the government in return for the benefits of no audit, no investigation, no challenge or pursuit of refunds or other penalties?
Again, Senator, I'm unable to comment because of litigation.
The senator's response here matters a lot because it points to an important legal fact. Ongoing litigation does not erase Congress's oversight authority. An official can't dodge questions just by saying, there's a lawsuit. But as you can see, the secretary just repeats the same line again. At this point, as viewers, we start to wonder, is this really a legal barrier? Or just a convenient way to avoid an uncomfortable question?
Invite me to ask my questions of somebody who's not before us, but you're the one who is before us, and I think you ought to know if there was any consideration offered or paid in return for that settlement. It's a very simple fact question. Was there or was there not consideration?
Again, there's ongoing litigation, and I suggest that you speak with the Treasury attorneys.
If this kind of behavior is okay with the chairman, I'll just pursue other questions. But, you know, what goes around comes around in terms of dodging questions.
I believe it's very clear that witnesses of any kind cannot discuss ongoing litigation.
This is one of the tensest moments in the video. The senator makes his frustration clear. You're the one sitting here. You can't redirect the questions to someone else. And with the phrase, what goes around comes around, he's issuing an indirect warning, hinting that these evasive answers will come back around in other ways later. The fact that even a simple yes/no question can't get answered only strengthens the viewer's suspicion Is something being hidden here?
Was there a defense analysis memo prepared by the IRS? And more specifically, did you see it?
Again, I'm not going to be able to comment on these matters.
Mr. Chairman, this just makes no sense at all. I've been a lawyer all my life. I have some idea of what is protected when you have a ongoing bit of litigation. Whether this individual has seen an official memo from within his own department is a very simple question to answer, and I think it's completely inappropriate to have this game of dodge 'em be pursued without any consequences.
The senator's phrase, game of dodge 'em, creates a genuinely memorable moment here. By emphasizing that she's been a lawyer her whole life, she's implying that this evasion isn't a legal necessity, but a deliberate strategy. The question being asked is actually very simple. Did you see this document or not? The fact that even this can't be answered leaves the viewer with a serious question mark over transparency.
To have this game of dodge 'em be pursued without any consequences. Well, last of all, here's another question. Was there any analysis of what harm befell President Trump from having his taxes released when every president since Nixon released their taxes and he had promised to? Did anybody analyze whether there was actually any harm at all to him in those circumstances?
So there was a crime. President's rights under 6103 of the IRS code was violated, and equally as important, 400,000 taxpayers had that right violated, including every employee of the Trump administration, the housekeepers at Doral, the greenskeepers, the cashiers.
And you're welcome to pursue all of that, but
it
it doesn't answer the question of whether the president actually suffered harm. And you're not answering that question either.
Senator Cortez Masto.